Hi Roxanne, how are you doing today? Good too. Almost forgot that I added this close button over here. I was looking for it over there. That was a last minute change added. Also the escape button doesn't work. And it works in GameMaker, but not in Flash. Can you hear me well, guys? Is the audio levels okay? Music and the speech. Okay. First of all, I'm trying to gather information about actually how much did I do of updating the subnet in last year. Here's the rundown, but I want to check with the with the game file how many rooms and how many locations. Yeah, my clicks. These ones? That tells me you haven't played the Submachine till the end. That last update from December. You definitely should, because it was kind of definite, the ultimate update to the subnet, and well, this is what I'm going to be writing this article about in a few days. Somebody followed, but Streamlabs are lagging as always. To check it on Maxi. Was right. Thank you for your follow. Again, thank you. God damn it, how do you solve this? I forgot where's the filtration system. Let me take a look at the sequencer. Hold on. One 28. AEL. Yeah, this is it. This is it. No, this should be open. Yes. Damn it. So I ate 8 rooms. This was a massive year for Submachine, for the Universe project. We're up to 52 rooms already. And this is only the beginning. This one is the missing one from the so-called Jatsko cluster, which should be renamed to Apocrypha cluster, probably. This one's got 3 rooms. I skipped one. Okay, we'll do the 5 and we'll go back to this one. I remember the sequence. $5.13. That's an obvious one. This one's laggy even on my computer screen, in my supercomputer. These graphics. This is basically why I have to move away from Flash, and I have, because the more the graphics look better and are more detailed, the more the Flash just can't handle it. If I make mistake in my math over here, so then please tell me if my adding abilities are gone. And this one is a short one, this is only 3 rooms. And we're up to a nice number of 80. This one is probably one of the biggest locations because it kind of mirrors the first Submachine in how many rooms it had. Without the upper deck, that's some. How many was there? So there's 21. I have a better idea. Let's just look at the original file. These numbers will change in a minute because I have to include those previous 2 locations over here, so they will be checked again. I'll just have a look at the source file for this location. 840. 25. So after the okay. $9.50. Oh, that's okay now. Okay, and now we go into the final, which I don't actually have to count because I already did it. So that final update was almost as big as the all updates from the entire year previously done in 2017. So that was a big one. So you might have to you might want to check it out, Roxanne. A big chunk of content waiting for you to discover. Hold on a second. If you have any problems opening it, you can try downloading the Itch.io app. I've been told that everything works fine if you open it through this app. Like it's like a desktop launcher or something like that for this website. And if you do it through their client, then it works perfectly fine on all systems probably. There's 17 total, 8 updated. So it's not 115, but it's 107, which brings, oh, this is going to be a round number, that gives 28 locations and 220 rooms. You forgot about playing the submachine. If you wonder why is it so dark in here, it's because my window was covered in snow in the last about half an hour. Let me change it a bit. Yeah, that looks about right. I modded here one location because one was split. There was no new content, but location was split into two. So this looks about right. I won't be going into the final update because not everyone, as it turns out, played it yet. So I don't want to spoil anything for you. Okay, looks like the math checks out here. Yeah. This is not the same number. This is 118 rooms in all the updates up until that moment, and this is number of locations. These are locations, so it was 16. Yeah. There's one missing still. No, that was plus. That was in, okay. Yeah, that gives 17. And that rounds up to 29. To 29 locations. Yeah, so these are final numbers for the last year's complete update of the subnet. 29 locations, 221 rooms. Seems like a kind of big submachine game if we were going to treat it like just one game. And biggest of all, probably. Yeah, it is huge, and there's a reason for it, why it's huge, but I can't tell you because you haven't played it yet. But as you can see, things get so huge that I have to write a separate article about it. Okay. Okay, I think that's all the info I need for my article, so we'll just move on. Another thing I wanted to do today is look through the questions that guys posted on the Submachine forum, on the Pastel Land forum, for me to answer about the subnet. So I'll just take a look at them, read them through, and maybe answer, but just a little bit, because I want to also make a written response to that, because once it's written, then it's kind of set in stone, and my blabbering on the live stream kind of doesn't count. Hi, Yambai. Hi, Des. How's the state of my face being visible? Is it still okay, or because it's still snowing on my window, on my roof window, and it's getting darker every minute. We didn't have any snow until today, throughout all the holiday season, and it's just started snowing. Hold on. Magic. God damn it, now it's snowing inside. It's getting kind of cold as well. yeah, the snow situation is getting worse every year, I have to say, because back in the day, when I was young, we had snow on every Christmas, guaranteed, and also our sea was freezing over, so you could walk on the sea for about 1 kilometer into the sea. But that's a long time ago, and now nothing like that happens anymore, unfortunately. And the snow is kind of delayed even more each year. We don't have any snow on holidays, but when spring should come, like in March or April, then we have big piles of snow, which is kind of insane. The climate is changing. Okay, let me take a look at those questions. And this is kind of sneaky because they kind of posted this long list and it says 1, 2, 3 and 4, but for example, the question number 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions inside of it. This is sneaky, guys. I gotta tell you, I'm not sure. First of all, I'm not sure if it wasn't a good idea for me to answer those questions, because I don't wanna. I know that you need some closure and you need some facts to know about Submachine, but on the other hand, I don't wanna tell too much, especially since I want to do more games in the future. It's getting darker. But on the other hand, I kind of agree that's somebody lately asked me why do I want to answer these questions. Well, I think it's Apple wanted to know why did I decide to ask you guys for the questions, and because I kind of feel that kind of closure is needed in this situation. Roxanne, please don't listen now. In a situation that the subnet is finally over, it's closed, it's finished, and this chapter of Submachine is kind of closing itself, because the new old series involving Murtaugh is closed already, and probably new games will have very little in common with the main storyline. It will be, of course, the same universe, but it will be like completely different, unrelated strain of the story, or not. I don't know. It's kind of far away. It's far removed into the future by now for me to tell it. Okay, number 1. In fact, I'll just copy it. At the end of Sub 10 and Submachine Universe, the player ends up in a desert What is the significance of this place for people like Murta and Elizabeth, and where is it located with respect to the rest of the submachine? It's above. Is it a foreign planet, or are it as it appears, or is it, you know, I remember when I created Submachine 10, the ending was about appearing in another layer, in one of the layers, one of the many layers, not only the, you know, the 8 main ones, but there's more, you know, that there's more. So the answer to this is the desert is on Earth. It's just another layer of reality. This layer span over the entire universe, so you can get planets set in the having different different so this is Earth, but it's a different Earth, right? This is another layer. This is something a bit different from where we live. This is why it's kind of this other Earth has this green hue to it. I think that's the answer to this question. Where is the edge located exactly? Is it a wall between the core and the outer rim, or is it surrounding the outer rim? Both things are true, and we travel to the outer parts to disable the inner parts defenses. How does one explain the manifestation map in Submachine 6? So we are getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Seems to me that the edge is not this one place that was created and then finished. Seems to me that the defense systems grew with the subnet. Now this sub-Earth does have the green hue, right? When you look at the sky of this planet, when you finish the game, it's kind of greenish. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like when you look from the outside onto the planet, but I meant like you're looking through the atmosphere into the cosmos. Then in our case, that's well, it's gray right now, but it's kind of blue, right? The blue skies. but at the end of the submachine you see a green sky, kind of greenish. So the edge was evolving with the expansion of the subnet. That's my answer. And going a bit more into it, I think it was firstly for the core, right? It was created for the core, but then you can look at it like giant country expanding, for example, and then placing more and more defenses around the new edges of it. But this expansion, I can't exactly tell you when it happened in relation to the things that happened with Murtaugh and Elizabeth. Okay, that's the answer to the first question of this batch of questions in question number 2. Well, you know, I don't know what's going to be in future games, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm spoiling and what I'm not spoiling over here, because but I want to give you some closure on those most important questions for you guys. Human infestation map was created by the let me say sub-bot overseer. We can argue if it was Shiva or not. Not sure. And yes, in that game we travel between different parts of the edge defenses. What does the defense system actually do, and what is it protecting? Who are the turrets for and where are they pointed? Does it govern the subbats? Does it protect the core, and is it in the outer edge or in the outer rim? Are the defenses in or out? Well, they are definitely out, spreading from the core outside. That's a good question about the purpose of defense system. I'll leave it for now. I think if there's a possibility that the core was to be invaded, not but by humans, but the expanding submachine itself, kind of collapsing on itself, like imploding, like turning into a red dwarf or something like that. Does it make any sense? It doesn't have to exactly, shoot at people, if you know what I mean. It can destroy other parts, for example, of the subnet. Yeah, the questions. Now the answers. The answers are coming, I hope. The thing is, I feel that even if I answer all the questions, that will only create more questions. That's how these things go, usually. The webcam, yeah, it was present for the longest time, just not pointing in this direction, right? Besides, it's going to be looking down again, probably next stream, when I have to create another watercolor submachine drawing. What decision? I'm regretting what decision, Yum? Answering questions. I remember when I said, when I told you guys that, okay, let's create a list and I'll answer them. I remember that about 2 days later on, I just thought to myself, what the hell have I done? It's like poking the wasp's nest or the ant's burrow. But let's see. Let's see how far can we go with this law of the submachine. So where were we? The purpose of the defense system is to protect the core from the collapsing parts of the outer rim. Right? Not only being invaded by people, because the infestation is going on and we've seen it before. We've seen the map of infestation. But those turrets are kind of these are not like defenses against humans, right? These are these look like I don't know, air defenses, like in real life, you know, the turrets for the defending from planes or something like that. So in my opinion, in my mind, the defense system of the edge is defending itself from something that's more or less the same size, right? Like one ship defending against another ship. Like in Star Wars, for example, right? You have the big spaceships, and they shoot big cannons against one another. Yeah. That sounds good to me. Oh, more questions in the chat. How nice. Is resin some method of treatment from karma using by the what? What? What do you mean? Wait, you haven't received the activation email from the forum? How long was that ago? That's automatic. You should get it, I don't know, a couple seconds after you register. So you register, but so if you haven't got it, then there's something wrong with the system. You should contact some admin of the forum. Submachine Death Stars confirmed. Yes. Well, maybe not Death Star, you know, but the Imperial cruiser, right? By the way, anyone seen latest Star Wars? What do you think? The defense system does not govern the sub-bots. I can get into the sub-bots a bit more right now or later on. I don't know if there are more questions about sub-bots, but let's leave it as it is right now. Does it protect the core, or is it at the outer edge of the outer rim? Are the defenses in or out? Yes, as I said, the defenses are outwards toward the enemy. Not enemy being rogue parts of the subnet growth. Right? This should be pretty self-explanatory right now. Really? I kind of had overall feeling that really nothing was going on there, and kind of, well, subnet, yes, thanks. And hi Tower, by the way. In this new episode, besides of how they treat Luke and what they've done to him, there was nothing going on in this movie. They were just, you know, two ships slowly moving in one direction for the, I don't know, 3/4 of the entire movie, waiting for the first ship to run out of gas. Still going. 40 minutes later, still chasing. And there were parts that turned out to be completely pointless. For example, the code breaker, the Benicio del Toro character, which was fantastic, but I've done nothing with it. Nothing. Jesus, this wasn't saved. Yeah. I think that the Del Toro will come back, but as it is now, we have to, you know, judge this movie by what we have. As it is now, it's completely pointless. Well, that whole sequence with Finn on the planet of rich people was completely pointless. Nothing was achieved. And there was also some very, very cringy stuff at the end when she said that to him, when she stopped him from being a hero that saves his friends by sacrificing himself. When she stops him and she tells him that the way is not fighting the enemy but loving, but saving who we love. It's just, that was so face-palmy for me. That was just the worst possible answer, and I would never thought that Star Wars would tell such a thing. That's like straight from the Care Bears, or I don't know, what were they called? Teletubbies, right? Okay, so have we finished the question about the defense systems of the Edge? The purpose is to protect it. It's outwards, and it does not govern the suburbs. Okay. If the lighthouse is a part of the core and the root is a part of Outer Rim, how can they be connected physically as seen in Submachine 5? Is it possible that the boundary goes through them? Maybe, perhaps. What is that floating symbol in the left side of the escape from Jay's games room? A special kind of karma portal? No, that was not a special kind of karma portal. I believe this symbol appears in it was kind of a tease to connect this game with the subnet, right? Because how you find this location in the subnet is through that symbol. Let me open up the file. Hold on. Okay, we've got a new follow. If you tell me how to read it. Serveriota? Is it okay? Thank you for your follow. Where was I? Yeah. So look. Where was it? It was here. See, this is the symbol, right? This is the same symbol? Or am I missing something? And this leads to 731, which is this location. So it was just kind of red herring, right? Placed inside a game of Escape from Jay's games. This one. It is some kind of karma symbol, right? But it's not a portal. It would be active. Yeah, is exactly. That's on red herring inception. You know, there is more inception with my games. For example, in Daymetal 1. In Daymetal 1, you have this is from my comic books, right? Revolutions. In the second one, you have characters from Morphs, from my other comic book series. Well, okay, yes, the karma spray paint, yes, but this idea was explored before, because when you look at the location of World is Quiet, right? When you look at this location, who can tell me how the hell did this happen? What happened here? Any ideas? This is also clearly somebody using a device to turn a portal into a stream of pure energy to open the wall, right? Yeah, piece of chalk. So it was kind of done before, right, by me. The idea that you can not only, for example, draw portals, but you can also do something else with this energy. Right? Okay, the Smartypants answer to this would be the border between core and the root is not necessarily how to say this. I know the words, I just don't know how to phrase them. I don't know if it's that easy to just to say that something is inside, something is outside of the core, and where's the boundary. Actually, we don't know that. Where's the exact border? Where one ends and another one starts. I'll get back to it. What is the true layout of the lighthouse? Is the painting shown in Submachine 1 correct? If so, why can't we see the answer is no. The third floor window in Submachine 2. Who asked that? I think that the painting is not correct, but not only because there is a difference in the inside architecture of the building, but also when you exit in Submachine 10, then you see that the top doesn't look like the one drawn, right? Those are different. Let me have a look. Hold on. Does it look like the ending of the Sub 10? Who can tell me? That's not the same building. That's just the idea. Or again, this might be in a different layer than the lighthouse that we are going through in Submachine 2 and 10. I know this seems like a like an answer that's kind of invalid. That, all the differences I can just point to the different layers. But that's kind of how it goes in Submachine, right? When you see the same things that kind of should be the same but a bit different, then it's the layer thing. The painting is not correct concerning the architecture of the actual. And listen to this. That painting could be from another layer. There you go. Question done. Do the structures seen at the ending of Submachine Universe imply that the player didn't exit the subnet from any of them because they weren't a home layer? But they kind of are, because you can see them clearly with the observatory. because you live through the observatory, right? And you see them on the same layer, on the same plane of existence. They are the home layer, as is the observatory. It was just a matter of sheer coincidence that left observatory and then not those. What are those? Those structures? These are telescopes, right? Not telescopes? Hold on. Whatever. Where is Kent? We keep hearing about England, Connecticut, or someplace original to the submachine cannon. Kent is somewhere. Unrelated.
Tatuś, ktoś zadzwonił.
Co?
Ej,
Co, ktoś zadzwonił?
ktoś zadzwonił.
A ktoś wchodzi czy nie? Puściłaś?
Otworzyłam.
Dobra. Be right back, guys. Somebody's at the door. I have to answer. Okay. Może mamcia? Czyli co, Wera, zostajesz w domu? Zostajesz w domu? Dobra. Came back, just a postman. The painting was removed. Where? From where? The painting of the lighthouse, right? Yeah, just a delivery. Cat is somewhere unrelated to our geographical layout. What more can I say? It's not England, it's not Connecticut. Right now, you guys, it's kind of so dark already that what you see is thanks to the light from the monitors. If I would make those white screens a bit darker, then you'd see the difference. Look. But it's fine, I guess, right? For now. Why do all layers have a black void in the background while in Submachine 8 we see different sky backgrounds? We see only one, right? In the second layer? Well, that's why the layers are different. Each layer is different. Like disperses. Disperses, is that such a word? I'm not sure. Dispersing. Yeah. I know this is like a 2-star question, but it's kind of easy to, to guess. Wait, what inspired what name? Yambai. Makes sense, however I would like to know what inspired the name, if possible. What name? Kent. God damn it, I don't remember actually. You know that you're asking me a question about the thing that I had in my mind 17 years ago, no, 12 years ago, right? 12 years ago. I don't think I remember, actually. Why was it Kent? I think because it was Kent just because it was kind of relating to somewhere. in our, you know, daily lives, in our good geographical outlay as we are, but was also kind of removed. It could be anywhere actually. I don't know, I had to do something, right? Yeah. It could have been inspired by the Ken waterfall. That was probably it. It was, you know, vague enough to be a bit mystical. That's my answer. Was the submachine built for the preservation of human culture, since the Fourth Dynasty revered different cultures and religions? They wanted to save them, but everything went wrong when Shiva began copying locations. I'm not sure if it was built for preservation. I'm not sure if that was the purpose of the submachine. Besides, I'm not. I kind of don't want to explain the purpose of the submachine, okay? Of course, not that I have one in my mind for it, a purpose for submachine. It just kind of is. Well, since we're going to get more games, then those fundamental questions have to stay unanswered for now, at least, okay? Is the story background in Submachine 8's Layer 2 fake, or is Submachine really so big that it can host all stars inside it? It's not fake. That's for sure. However, it's not said that it's and those void can be different as well. I know that you've been listening to me saying that everything can be explained by the layer differentiation a lot today, but what else can I say? This game is spread through different layers of reality, and usually when something doesn't click right, that means that it's from somewhere else. I know it's kind of hacky answer, but it's been like this since years, right? Since I introduced the layers into the subnet, and everything kind of got mixed up together, and everything could be possibly explained by the different layer thing. Is little tornado right in his calculations on how big? Is this question about the video by Apple and Was that it? I'm looking for the video. That was not this video. I never actually thought about it, so I can't answer these questions. This question. What is the significance of the statue seen in 3:14 and why is it so similar to the one? Well, they are both statues of gods and the one in 452 is just some kind of ancient god, and 314 is the god of mathematics, or the god of pi number. Pi is really very complicated number, and it's kind of godlike, and there's just this statue just expresses this kind of philosophy that the pi number is kind of godlike, right? He holds the circle in his hand. Statue in 3:14. Both of those gods were created in one culture. The same culture created both of those gods. Are there any locations in the subnet that even a mortal with his calm arm cannot visit? If so, why? Are they specific locations, or do they form a group due to some property? I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason for him to be prevented from going into some kind of into any location right now. Is there something I'm missing? Pondered, yes. Thank you. Okay, Eddie Gold, another question. Sub 32 question. Maybe I should have. Next time I'm answering questions, I'm getting questions only from people who are donating. That's a good idea. The Sub 32 question was the end of the world really supposed to happen in 2012? No, it was just the moment the Mayan calendar stopped, right? It stopped at 2012. What layer is it then? Was the mechanism to work of ancient people or of the submachine itself, and where did the player? The mechanism just makes the Mayan calendar longer by its its entire cycle. I don't remember the numbers right now, but it was supposed to be 2012 Mayan calendar. So the mechanism in the game kind of prolonged the calendar by one full cycle into the future. That was the idea. Is location 672 an example of submachine in construction? No. But let me show you what are we talking about here for those who haven't seen it. This one, because as you go along it kind of disappears. I would rather say it's the other way around. It's an example of submachine entropy. So whoever asked this question was kind of right, in the right direction, in the right place, but not the direction. It's the other way around. Yes, it's degrading. That can't be that can't be too surprising for you guys, because entirety of subnet is kind of in state of entropy, right? It's falling apart. At least in some layers. But in subnet you can see many examples of how to contain an unstable portal created by maybe Murto or somebody else. Right now we have lots of machines that keep them in place together, so that they do not destroy. For example, a good idea is did I turn it off again? Damn it, maybe I should leave it open. Good example of it is when we go to CAT or CAT. Right, this is you can see the idea of a machine that's keeping this portal at bay, right? And once you move through it, you can see what happens when it's shifted away from the center of this machine. This happens, right? So it's still destructible, but it can be contained in some way. And we can see it everywhere, for example in observatory, right? This is the simpler machine that keeps it at bay. I don't know if you noticed, guys, you probably noticed, but I don't know if you kind of grasp the significance of the portal, that you can see hubris from the other side, right? Because these are elements of the chimney from the other side, from the laboratory. Right? You know what I'm talking about. These are elements from the other side of the portal, which is not this one, of course. It's over there, but I can't access it now because I don't have the proper, and I don't want to spoil it anyway. So okay, let's leave it open for now. Does the submachine copy structures built by aliens? Nope. Do not. I wanted to write do not exist, but I'm changing that to not make in this. Aliens did not make contact in this reality. If they exist, they are somewhere else. That was your question? About the aliens, really? No, submachine. Does the submachine have an outer shell, like in the movie Cube, or is it infinite? If yes, what is it? No, submachine doesn't have an shell. This process. space is like a universe, like, let's say, like universe. Let's assume there's only one. I think it's cooler to think that people made these structures, not the aliens. That actually people were able to become so sophisticated to be able to create advanced structures of the subnet, not the aliens, right? This is the problem with all the alien theories, is that if we don't know how things were created, right, like in those ancient times, it's probably for some people easier to just imagine that it was aliens, right? That there's this meme, aliens did it. But it's kind of even more interesting to think that there were people that were able to do it, even though it's lost science to us and we don't know anymore how to do it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Okay, oh boy, here we go. Why does the subnet exist at all? Really? You want to ask me that? Okay. I'm not writing it, but the subnet exists because I made it up. It's a product of my imagination, and that's why it exists. Where did it first come from, and what made the first location be created, absorbed? This is the question that assumes that it's created by itself, kind of. It was created by people, so somebody built it. Is it inside a universe or its own universe? No, it is definitely inside some kind of a universe. Layered universe, as we said before. If the first subnet location wasn't necessarily built by humans, it was. I think that was clear that the submachine was built by humans. Right? Subnet started growing by itself after the singularity. Okay. When was the lab created and for what purpose? Was it a part of attempt to understand the collapse and rapid expansion? Yes. If not, what was it for and who controlled it? Yes, I think that's the answer to your own question here, because lab was created of understanding the is this let me check this word. This suggests that the lab was created after the singularity, right? Is it possible? Was not created, no. It's inception. He was not who did it. Who done it? What is the purpose of the root in the Submachine storyline? What was it used for, and for how long? Why was there an observation room? Is the place still used? Showed. How many questions can you fit into one simple question? Why did I do it? Why did I ask for those questions? What was the purpose? What is the purpose of the root? The root, as I remember, was the first submachine structure built, right? That's kind of established. Help me out here, guys. Talk to me. The root. It was used as a sandbox for developing more submachine locations. Hence the observation. Right? Is the place still used? The place is abandoned now, which is kind of pointless for me to say, because that isn't entirety of Submachine kind of abandoned by now. Anyway, it is abandoned. What is special about the root? Nothing special. The special thing about the root is that it was the first submachine structure. That's it. Okay, how does the situation with the lighting look right now? Let me take a look. Now we're cooking. That looks kind of dark, right? Why not? We cool? We cool? Yeah. What were the 7-layer bullets used for and when? Was there a war between the followers of Murtaugh and those who opposed him? Did people try to kill him later? How did this affect Murtaugh? How did this affect... I have to leave this question for now because I'll get back to it when I get more information. I just wanted to look through those questions right now and not answer them, but here we are. I know that 7-layer bullets are the ones that you can't dodge, right? When a bullet, comes at you, you can dodge it like going from side to side, right? That's normal dodging, but you can also dodge it by changing your layer, right? So you're not here anymore, and you come back, right? The mechanic of dodging the bullet by changing the layer that you are in. Okay? If you have a 7-layer bullet, a bullet that is present in 7 layers, you can't dodge it by going to a different layer. You're screwed. You only can kind of trying dodging in the same layer, which is, as you know, very hard. Seven-layer bullets are preventing the dodging the bull by chain layer, right? 7-layer bullets are preventing the dodging of the bullet by changing layer. You can dodge a 1-layer just by being into another seven. You can't do it. About the war and the fighting and who died, I'll have to get back to it. Like shifting layers while being shot at is easy, but you can have kind of device that does it automatically for you, right? For example, if you have some kind of a force field in front of you, and if a bullet comes at a great speed, it recognizes the speed, and just this force field recognizes the speed, and before it can hit you, it changes automatically. It can be for about, I don't know, a split second, right? It can be for a half a second. The bullet is already on the other side. You don't have to do it, like sitting and oh my god, there's a bullet coming my way. Let me hit the switch. It can be done automatically. And dodging in real life a bullet, you have to move your body, and it's, well, that's the idea. Of course, you could just have a force field that just, the bullet bounces off of it, but that's not the case here. In this reality, you dodge bullets by switching the layer. That was the idea behind the 7-layer bullets. What is the rough timeline of the sub-eras and the dynasties? When did the singularity happen? I'll have to check that. I don't remember from the top of my head right now. When did the singularity happen? That was said in the note. Singularity happened when AI gained consciousness. If you're asking about what year it was or when exactly, it's hard for me to say because nothing in this whole story is kind of anchored in normal dates and years and time, right? It kind of floats somewhere in time. Okay, but we'll get back to it. Get back to this one and also this one. Hold on, I'm changing the music information. Okay. I don't know what year exactly. Or maybe I know, but I just don't remember. I would have to check it. Okay? I'll read through all the notes and check it again. Is the plot of for Submachine 9 Murto and Elizabeth travel into the past and are revered but soon die and after buried in a proper format? More or less go through time normally, therefore die not. No. There you go. In time. And don't. I don't know why this is kind of connected, that they go back in time and then die soon. No, they didn't die soon. They spent quite a lot of time in the past doing different things, earning that revered status. I'm pleading the fifth for this one. I'm not saying anymore about the past adventures of Murta and Liz. Maybe we'll get back to it someday. What are specific moments during the series that the player travels in time? I'll have to again look closer into it. What happened exactly in the period between Submachine 4 and 5? The player woke up in a bed and then starts up 5 with food and coffee. No sign of them having been traveled recently. Is it really that important to know every second of what happened? I think this is the case of some parts of time just taken out of the movie, right? Like in the movies, you don't see everything all the time. What happens? You just see some scenes. This is how this works right now. This is that moment. How did it? Okay, I think it happened on summer. Maybe a subbot guided a player to his chamber. That could be it. Or maybe he was pointed in this direction some other way. Who knows? Oh, there. I think that's the answer. So somebody's been kind of fixated on dates. This relates to the other game, so I'll have to check it again. I will have to check the dates concerning other games and think of something canon. Jesus. How long have we been doing this? 2:20. Okay. Listen guys, 5 minutes of break, okay? And we'll be back to it in no time. Where were we? How exactly does one decide where to transport to find a new karma portal or location? So many of the locations are completely closed structures. So does that mean that the portals were already inside? but then how were explorers able to access them they went previously reverse engineered? I kind of don't get what's the problem here. You travel between two machines, right? It doesn't matter if it's in a closed structure or not. It can be just in pure void, or it can be inside a room without any doors, right? This is, for example, location 1, right? Yeah, location 2. You just travel to this machine, and clearly there was something more to this location, right? There was something more happening here, but as it is now, it's destroyed, and all you can do is go to this machine. If the machine is broken, then you cannot travel more to it. So I don't get what's the problem here. How does Moore find new locations to turn into Karma portal locations? That's completely different question. That's something completely different. Hi LT. Dang, glad I made it. Yes, me too. Good to have you guys all here for this. And you still can see me, which is kind of surprising. Because right now the light source is only my monitors. It looks good. Co?
Lekcje zrobione, bo nic nie było.
To się nie liczy. To się nie liczy. Wera, teraz nie mogę, pracuję, dobrze, za pół godziny.
Niech ci się pracuje wesoło.
It's implied that the portals were reverse engineered from the portal prototype seen in Submachine 6. How do you get the reverse engineered? You don't know where those locations with those portals are. A portal prototype in Submachine 6. Where is it? Hello, Sharasowa. Witamy. Okay, I see. So the question is not about how is it possible that we are moving between those machines, but who put them there, right? That's the question. I'm not sure if those in Submachine 6 were the prototypes, actually. Were they? Okay then. We'll just leave it for later again. I'll have to look into it a bit closer, okay? Into those portals. But if something's busted, then it means that it's just decayed and fell apart. You sure? They were reverse engineered? It's said somewhere. It's written somewhere. Okay. What are the specific moments during the series that the player changes layer? And which layer do they end up each time? This question is really that important to you guys. This is like the 3-star question, which is on the scale of being important, most important question. I can't be holding your hand by explaining everything about the game, okay? I think. Can I leave something to the imagination? I assume you're not asking about the Submachine 8 where you change layers all the time. Okay, here we go. Portal prototype developed for transportation of units between different sections of the Subnet. The prototype came. Okay, this is interesting, but it doesn't say that. It kind of implies that it was reverse engineered into a portal, a human portal, but in fact what I read from here is that those exact machines were just reverse engineered to transport humans, right? And not that they were a base for more transporters. I don't know if you've seen the Animatrix. There is a nice short movie about hacking into a robot and turning it into your side, right? So the robots don't attack humans anymore. They are protecting humans. This can be something similar as in we have our transporters, we have our technology, and there's the technology on the other side, on the side of the artificial intelligence, and we just take some of them and turn into our side. Okay, so it doesn't transport machines, it transports us. Okay, I think this is kind of clear, but that doesn't necessarily mean that our own transporters were devised from those ones. How do karma portals interact with the layer dimension, assuming that the layer dimension is accurately explained in the first place? I think that it's kind of hard to explain by I would have to draw it. Hold on. This is just a simple example of a wormhole. If you have a layers, you have two. God damn it! It just rips through. Okay, the portal goes through to the other side. You've seen it in the loading screens of the old subnet, and you've so you kind of go into a small wormhole. Okay, and you go this way. You could have also seen it in the first versions of Submachine 7, where we had loading screens for traveling through portals, where you could see those lines between those between portals, right? And a point traveling through. Yes, modified, not taken apart, to see how they work. Question 28, which is like question 50 by now, right? Am I right, guys? Other instances in the games will layer dimensions are not used. And the submachine is now living in 5 dimensions in Submachine 10. Was it said in Okay, let me follow up on that. God damn it, did I open Spine again? If you have one layer, right? Like in Submachine 7. Simple. no layer and dimension. This is the same, this is the exact same thing. Layer and the dimension. Dimension. Are layers and sublayers actually arranged in a continuum similar to the number line as the node from Submachine 10 suggests? There are sublayer 1.5 between layer. Well, yes, but it's just a matter of nomenclature, right? Layers don't real. It was us who a multi-universe. Okay. It's just a matter of nomenclature. Those layers don't really have any names attached to them. It was us who named them in an attempt to understand the workings of a multi-layered universe. Okay guys, I'm going to have to finish. Almost 3 hours in. That's enough for one day of my face showing on the stream. The family is all here. We probably have to do some dinner preparations right now. Maybe I'll get back to it later on in the evening. Until then, see you in the next one.